Yo, what's up guys, Genius X here, and today we have something a bit different. I recently joined a draft league that it's basically like any other draft league where we draft 12 mons from each tire and Smogon, and we battles them, and today I'm here to explain my draft. So let's just get straight into it. So for the OU drafts here, the three mons that I decided to pick was Mega Metagross, Keldeo, and Garchomp. The reason I decided that I want my Mega to be Metagross is because of the fact of how versatile it is currently and how it dominates uh dominates the this draft league style format because of how much coverage it has with all his moves, and it can be used as a lot of roles in certain games such as Rock Polish Sweeper. It also has near perfect coverage in uh, Meteor Mash, Earthquake, Thunder Punch, and Ice Punch. It also learns Priority and Bullet Punch, and it has a very good speed stat coupled with decently high defense and extremely high attack with the ability Tough Claws, which boosts its contact moves even more. So this is the mon I pretty much wanted to build my draft around, and I was lucky enough to get first pick because I probably sniped this mon out of many people's hands. It also gets many moves such as Power Up Punch, which can aid in a sweep, and it can also even learn rocks, even though I probably won't use it as my rocker. Now, Metagross, even though it is very bulky and uh, has a high base attack, before Mega evolves, it doesn't hit a very large speed stat, and that is something I have to worry about before Mega evolving because it can easily be revenge killed. So, potential sets that I will run during this league is probably something such as Meteor Mash, Bullet Punch if my opponent has something fairies that are annoying, and Earthquake, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Rock Polish, maybe even Explosion or Agility. So this one has a lot of things under its sleeves, and it can really be surprise the opponent in a way, and with its coverage. So that is basically the first mon we have. Let's move on to the second mon, Keldeo. So Keldeo was my I really needed a water type, which is my mentality when drafting the league. So I wanted a water type straight away, and I wanted a good one. I wanted a water type with offensive pressure and basically can do uh, everything it can to patch up Metagross's holes. So the mon that I really wanted to draft was Keldeo, and if it got sniped, I was going to draft Starmie. But thankfully, Keldeo did not get sniped, and let me explain to you why Keldeo and Metagross form a really cool pair, not only in Drafts League style format, but also in many competitive battling as well. So Metagross with its strong stabs and ability to pursue also helps helps Keldeo a lot since the counters to Keldeo are most are mons such as Latios, Latias. I don't think they're drafted, but mons similar to that, such as Reuniclus, bulky psychic types at most, which probably just get demolished by Metagross and can get pursuit traps, which aids Keldeo in a late game cleanup with the specs set. And Keldeo is pretty one-sided. I might run some different hidden powers depending on my opponent's team. I can run Subcon Mind, I can run Focus Blast, and I can even run some stuff such as Taunt, Starbreaker, Keldeo. Uh, yeah, it's pretty one-sided, but the point of Keldeo is just to round up Metagross's weaknesses in such as like fire and ground types, while Metagross can help Pursuit Trap or do heavy damage to bulky psychics that can stop Keldeo. So these two form a really potential good core, and the next mon we have is Garchomp. So I wanted a pretty nice core in a Fairy Dragon and Steel since it forms a lot of defensive capabilities and also pressure opponent in offense with strong stabs. It Metagross its tough core boosted meter mashes and Garchomp stab earthquakes. So Garchomp, again, is a very versatile mon. One of the main reasons I drafted it is because its tank set can really help in certain situations, and it can also has the ability to set up rocks, which I is essential for any draft. And this guy can run like almost all of those anything you want. He can run tank with Rocky Helmet, Leftovers, Sub SD, LO Firefang, uh, Lum. You can run Choice Scarf. You can run Yache. You can run Choice Band even, and you can run Focus Sash Lead. So this is just a mon with great potential, and I feel like it can do anything I wanted to do and fix up like if there's any role that I couldn't fit, like Garchomp can automatically fix it because it has overall very nice stats, and its speed stat is a 102, which outspeeds base 100s, which is really nice. Especially because a lot of them was drafted in the tire, and ones such as Latios was not drafted, meaning there are less counters to Garchomp. So Garchomp is a very versatile mon, just like Metagross, and it just has a lot of offensive presence, defensive capabilities, the ability to set up hazards. The move pool is so wide; it can run special, physical, and it's just such a good mon. And yeah, that's my final OU pick. So moving on to the UU picks here, we have Hydreigon, Florges, and Entei. So Hydreigon was I pretty much the mentality for going into the UU pick is that I wanted a good fairy type and a good special attacker that can has coverage such as Garchomp. So since Sylveon was sniped from me and probably by many others, I drafted Florges and Hydreigon. So Hydreigon in itself is a really cool mon. It has a decent speed stat. 98 is not bad. It's not that good either, but it's pretty decent. Its special attack stat is really what makes it good, and its move pool. So it again can run a wide variety of movesets. It can run Choice Scarf. It can run Choice Specs. You can run Life Orb. You can run Mm, let's see what else you can run. You can run Assault Vest even. You can run Chopo Berry, Draco Plate, Dread Plate, and many other stuff. Basically, that's what makes Hydreigon really cool. And what I really like about my pick in Hydreigon is that now we have a way to beat Stall, because in my previous draft I literally had no way to beat Stall. Like Mega Sableye just completely wrecked these three mons, and because I didn't have a fairy type yet, and Chansey pretty much I mean not Chansey, a lot of mons such as Quagsire just walled my team hard, and like with LO Hydreigon and with moves access such as Taunt, Tailwind, it's just such a good mon for support, both for support, stall breaking, and a sweeper, and a wall breaker. So it learns moves such as Dark Pulse and Draco Meteor as its main stabs. It has Focus Blast and Fire Blast as secondary moves to hit steel types. It can generate momentum with U-turn, and it can heal itself reliably with Roost. It's just such a good mon with such a good move pool and can threaten the opponent a lot. And it's also ground immunity, which is really important since if I focused on ground immunity a lot since my squad is really weak to ground types. Uh, because strong ground stab can easily overwhelm mobs such as Keldeo and Garchomp. So this is a really nice pick for me, and I'm surprised that I didn't get sniped. So let's move on to the second UU pick here, which is Florges. So, like I said, I wanted a fairy type, and Florges just fills that role incredibly well. It acts as a special wall, a cleric, a witch passer. Now, Sylveon would definitely have been better since it had more offensive percents with a Pixelate boosted Hyper Voice, and Florges has to rely on Moonblast, and it doesn't have a high ass HP stat as Sylveon, I believe, which has 90 something. So basically how which works is it pass a quarter of your HP stat to the opponent, to the mon you want to pass to, and because of the higher base HP stat of Sylveon, Sylveon can pass fatter wishes to his teammates or her, and basically it just fills a better cleric role with offensive presence than Florges. But I'm not saying Florges is bad at all. It has been a really good staple on most UU teams before Sylveon came into the tower, and it still is. It's the main thing that has over Sylveon as a cleric is the ability to instant recovery, such as synthesis. Because mons such as Sylveon has to rely on Wish and Protect, while Florges can heal itself in one turn, which in some cases is really useful. So basically, Florges is my favorite type to counter to mons such as Sableye, and it has a pretty decent move pool. Not that I'm gonna use a lot of them, and like I said, there's instant recovery as Wish, and it's just a great cleric mon overall and a fairy type that I desperately needed. So moving on to the last pick, we have Entei. So during this pick, I wanted something to do with fat grass types, because if you just look at my draft, except for Hydreigon, Tangros bodies it. Amoonguss bodies this whole draft. Because like even a Zen Hepa wouldn't do much from Metagross to Amoonguss if it's physically defensive, which is saying a lot since this is Mega Metagross. So I wanted a strong poison or fire type that could deal with these pesky, bulky grass types such as Tangros. And the mons that I had left that I considered was Nidoking and Entei. And in the end, I decided to go with Entei. The reason I went with Entei is because not only Entei supports a great fire type, it has priority and choice banded extreme speed. It can even run a life orb set, a special set. It like most people think of Entei just as a bandit set, but I find Entei to have a much more potential in that. And Sacred Fire's 50% burn chance is just absolutely ridiculous. And it just deals with monsters such as Tangros extremely well. It acts as a reliable switch into them. It can reliably deal heavy amount. It can burn stuff. It's just it expanded extreme speed. It has even faster priority than monsters such as Talonflame's Bravebird, which is saying a lot. And I just overall very like Entei for this team as it rounds off the weaknesses, and it's basically just a really good pick. So moving on to the RU and NU picks. Now, looking at my OU and UU picks, I have a lot of offensive presence, and my only decently tanky mon is pretty much Florges and Garchomp. And I did not have a fighting resist, which is something I wanted to consider. I did not have a defogger. I did not have a rapid spinner. And these are the things that I wanted to patch up in the RU and NU draft, so I didn't draft as powerhouses like what looks like in my OU and UU draft. So the first mon that I drafted is Rotom Mal. Now, the reason I drafted Rotom is because I wanted an electric type that knows Volt Switch, that can generate momentum. And since Jolteon was pretty much sniped on round 1 or something, so that pretty much was dead. Jolteon is one of the fastest Pokemon, and not counting legendaries and megas, which is something that I really wanted, but of course it got sniped. Rotom Mal is still very cool though. It doesn't have a high speed stat in 86, but I can stab it a Choice Scarf, and it can be really useful with Volt Turn. It also has Leaf Storm, which can deal with ground types extremely well. Discharge, and it's just a really cool mon. It's just a mon that generates momentum extremely well, getting a slow Volt Turns, uh, pivoting into my wall breakers such as Mega Metagross. So, my second pick for the RU is Miss Togetic. Now, Togetic, probably nobody would have picked it up So I was gonna go for it last, but I desperately needed this mon and I didn't want to risk anybody sniping it from me, so I just chose it on the spot. So Togetic. Now, even though the stats may look horrible, when Snap was an Eviolite, its defenses go extremely high, and it can counter mons such as Flygon. Garchomp is drafted by me, so I don't really need to worry about that. But it can counter bulky grounds, dark types, and it's another fairy type, and it has the ability to defog. It's just such a good Clericmon again. It has Seismic Toss, it has Heat Wave if you want, and it's like a glue mod basically. It's a mod that seals off the weaknesses to my previous draft, such as not a hazard remover, and it's just a glue mod, and it just fits my team extremely well. So moving on to the last pick, we have Cofagrigus. Now, I originally forgot this thing was even in Aru. I thought this thing was in UU. So after I saw this in Aru and that it was still available, I knew that I had to pick this thing. This thing is such a physically defensive wall. Look at that. Oh my gosh. 145. That's even higher. Is that higher than Mega Scizor? I'm pretty sure that's higher than Scizor. Scizor. Yeah, Scizor is 140. This thing has higher base defense than Mega Scizor, which is saying a lot since Scizor is one of the tankiest Pokemon in OU. And it's a ghost type, so mons such as Mienshao and Medicham can't just threaten my team with a high jump kick and obliterate me. It's such a glue mon, and like I said, going into the RU and NU picks, I wanted to round off my team. I wanted to fix up the patches. It has Trick Room nasty plot sets. It has high base special attack. It has Destiny Bond. It has Hex. It has Memento. It has Pain Spirit. It has Toxic Spikes. Will-O-Wisp. Such a good mon that rounds off my team. It's just incredibly surprised that it haven't got picked and I was able to pick it up. I feel really satisfied that I was able to get Cofagrigus because since it basically just stops every fighting type that wants to HJK spam his way to victory. And that's something I really appreciate, especially given that many people don't Chan and Mienshao. So the next one, we're moving into the NU picks that I picked. And the first one I picked was Hitmonchan. So Hitmonchan, a really interesting mon. It, the reason I picked this guy is that was in my previous draft. You probably saw that I had no fighting type coverage, and that's something I really want because you'll be surprised by how many normal types there are in the draft. So the reason I picked up Hitmonchan over other mons such as Hariyama, which has obviously more viability than Hitmonchan, with abilities such as Sick Fat. Hitmonchan offers as another hazard removal in Rapid Spin. It may not be the most reliable hazard remover, but it is something, and I don't just want to rely on Togetic for my hazards, and because I have also Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Stealth Rocks, Defog might not be the best move to use in certain cases. So, Hitmonchan here, it just has a wide variety of moves. Ice Punch, Fire Punch, Drain Punch, Rock Slide, Stone Edge, Thunder Punch, Dynamic Punch, Bullet Punch, Close Combat, Mach Punch, Earthquake, Fake Out. So, High Jump Kick. Yeah, so basically, Hitmonchan here is basically just another hazard remover and a fighting coverage. Its stats may not look that great, but I'm sure that I can make this thing work in a draft league style. And the next mon is Mr. Garbodor himself. Now, Garbodor is a mon that I thought was pretty much a best fit for this team. And the reason I say that is, in the NU tier, let me go to the NU tier, sorry. The only reliable poison types are Muck, Garbodor, and that's pretty much it. So, Muck got sniped, and Haunter wasn't a reliable poison type since it's so frail and it can't even absorb toxic spikes, so pretty much only Muck and Garbodor was my options, and Garbodor I think is definitely superior of the two, especially with its superior ability in Aftermath. weak armor, and it can use moves such as Toxic Spikes, Gunk Shot, and it's just such a Gloomon overall that it's basically a hazard setter and a hazard absorber while also functioning as a aftermath user, which is really nice. And it also can run some really unique and creative sets such as Rock Polish, and it's just a really cool mon overall. And I'm glad that I've been able to draft it. So moving on to our last pick, we have Swallow. So honestly, for the last pick, I didn't know what to draft. Like, everything was so appealing to me, and I decided that I just wanted to draft another ground resist that doesn't get beaten by Mold Breaker. So the choice was between Archeops and Swallow, and I didn't really want Archeops because even though it has a higher base attack stat and Defeatist sometimes doesn't basically it's just a better overall offensive mon, Archeops. I didn't want Defeatist to pull my leg and let my opponent get many setup opportunities, so I decided to go with Swallow. And Swallow has an extremely high speed stat. You'll be surprised by how high it is. I'm pretty sure it outspeeds Tornadus. Not that it's drafted, but yeah, Tornadus is 121. Yeah, this thing outspeeds Tornadus, which is incredibly useful for many other mons. It does not outspeed Weavile, however, which is a concern, but we do have Hitmonchan for that, so. Uh, so it's such a good mon for my team is because it offers us another ground resist. As I said, ground destroys my team. I have Garbodors, I have Entei, I have Metalroses, and its high speed stat is really what lured me in. And its attack is not bad either. And it has access to such as Gut Facade, and that's of stab boosted Toxo or Guts Facade, which is hits extremely hard. So that is gonna round off our draft picks for this league. Overall, I'm really satisfied with my draft, and I will be posting videos on the matches. So, peace out.